Good morning. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. Today's lesson, we're going to do division strategies. We have done these previously. We will be focusing on doing partial quotient and the long division strategy. All right, so let's jump right on in. The problem that we're going to focus on will be 947 divided by 2. All right, so we're going to start with the partial quotient strategy first. In the partial quotient strategy, it's important to understand this vocabulary. The number on the outside is called the dividend, and our answer is called our quotient. All right, here again, we have our problem, 947 divided by 2, and we're going to draw our bracket to resemble the hangman game. That's a way to help you remember with partial quotient. You're going to draw it similar to hangman. All right, the first step, our step one, it tells us that we should think what we can multiply the divisor by to get close to the dividend without going over. What can we multiply the divisor by to get close to the dividend without going over? And another tip is to use multiples of 10 and 100 because when you use those, it gives you friendly numbers when subtracting. So let's think about that. What can we multiply by 2 that's going to get us close to 947? All right, the number that I chose is 400. I am going to take out 400 twos. I'm taking out 400 twos from 947. And to do that, I'm going to multiply 400 times 2. So 400 twos would be 800. Now we're going to subtract the 800 from the 947. And we get 147. So 947 minus that 800 is 147. Our step 2 tells us that we're supposed to repeat that until we can't subtract anymore. So since we have 147, we need to think about what's a number that I could multiply by 2 that's going to get me close to 147. And you can see here that I've already taken out 72s. I'm saying that I can take out 72s from 147 because 70 times 2 is 140. Now, when I subtract 147 and 140, I get 7. So I'm going to repeat again. How many 2s can I take out? 7. I can take out 3 2s from 7. 2 will go into 7 3 times. And 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So now I am going to subtract those 6 from the 7. And when I subtract 6 from 7, I get 1. I have 1 left over. So because I know that 2 cannot go into 1, I know that I am done. I'm not going to repeat step 1 over. What I do now is I add up my partial quotients. I add up all of the partial quotients that I had taken out of 947. So I'm going to add up 400 plus 70 plus 3, and I get 473 with the remainder of 1. That is my answer, also known as the quotient. All right, let me go back. Because if you see down here, number 4, it said to double check your work with multiplication. I'm skipping that until the end of the long division strategy because I'm going to share with you how you double check your work then. All right, just remember that our answer was 473, remainder 1. All right, on to the long division strategy. Same problem, 947 divided by 2. All right, the first step is to write down your problem. We wrote down 947 divided by 2. It's similar to the same way that we did the partial quotient. Only thing here is I don't have that long line coming down like the hangman game looks. So you don't put that there with the long division strategy. All right, the first step is to divide the first number. We're going to see how many times 2 can go into 9. Just into 9, not 947, only into 9. How many times can 2 go into 9? The best way to think about this is to think about the multiples of 2. You think about your 2 times tables. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. All right, when we say 2 times 5, we've gone over, so we have to come back down to 2 times 4. 2 will go into 9 4 times. All right, so we're going to write our 4 up top where we write our quotients at. Step 2 says that we're supposed to multiply. You're going to multiply the number that you put up top times the 2, and we get 8. 4 times 2 equals 8. So step 1 is divide. Step 2 is multiply. Step 3 tells us to subtract. We're going to subtract 8 from the 9. And you can see I forgot to put my subtraction symbol right there. But 8 from 9 equals 1. All right, so that was our third step, to subtract. Step 4 says to next digit. We're going to bring down our 4 next to the 1, and that's going to create the number 14. And then step 5 tells us to repeat. If you can repeat it, then you go back to step 1. If you can't repeat, that means that it's your remainder. When you can't repeat, that means that 2 won't go into the given number that we have. Well, we know that 2 can go into 14, so we're going to repeat. How many times will 2 go into 14 without going over? 7. 2 will go into 14 7 times. So I'm going to write my 7 up top as we continue to build our quotient. Once I put my 7 up there, I'm going to do step 2, multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm going to write my 14 down here. And then I'm going to do step 3, subtract, and I get 0. Now, just because we got 0, that doesn't mean the problem is over. Remember that. Let me say that again. Just because we got 0, the problem is not over, because step 4 says to bring down. We have another digit to bring down. So we have to bring down this next digit. So we bring down our 7, and then we create the number 7. And then so we're going to do step 5 here. We're going to repeat if possible. Can 2 go into 7? Yes, it can. It can go in there 3 times. 2 can go into 7 3 times. And 3 times 2 is 6. Once we put our 6 down here, we're going to do our next step, which is to subtract, and then we get 1. All right, so we're going to bring down, put our 1 down there. And we do not have any more digits to bring down, and 2 cannot go into 1. So our answer is 473, remainder 1. And if you remember, that's the same answer that we got when we used the partial quotient strategy. So you want to check your answer. You want to check your answer to make sure that you're correct. The way that you check your answer with the division problem is you take your quotient, the answer that you got, and you multiply it by the divisor. You're going to multiply your quotient by your divisor. All right, so our quotient was 473. We're going to multiply 473. I'm sorry. We're going to multiply 473 times 2. All right, so 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 70, it's not 7, that's 70 because it's in the tens place, is 100, is 800. And when we add all those up, we get 946. Now, remember our dividend was 947. We will get 947 when we add our remainder right here to the 946, and then you get 947. We get the dividend that we first started with. So we can see that our answer was in fact correct. Here, I've shared some other internet-based resources. I have a vocabulary video. I think you will remember the song once you hear it. It will review the steps to long division, which we have learned today. There are to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat if possible. I've also shared with you a Khan Academy video that will also help you to review long division as well. Okay, I want you all to remember that if you need any more help, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you need more assistance, you can contact me through an email, through a phone call, or through Dojo. Remember, we can, we will, we must, and we got this. And if no one has told you that they love you today, always remember that I do. And before we go, I want to remind you to always remember to check your email daily, because that is how we contact you all and send you invites for Zoom videos and for Google Meet conferences. So please remember to check your emails daily. Also, if you are planning on submitting your reading logs for your Six Flags Read to Succeed tickets, remember you need to get your reading logs turned in to me if you are wanting me to log your reading information for you. All right, so please do not forget to do that. Okay, bye-bye.